Hello and welcome to Reeling in the Peers. My name is Gary O'Brien. This is where I get some of my very good friends on to chat about and discuss all kinds of movies. And joining me today, once again, it's David Scanlon, and he's here to talk about the 2021 horror sequel, A Quiet Place Part 2. So stick around. We hope you enjoy. No idea what to call that movie.
See, this is the thing. I was going to actually question if it is a horror movie, because I don't know if I'd call it a horror movie.
What would you call it?
An action thriller, maybe? Because, like, I've said this to people. I've been like, you know, if you've seen Stranger Things, it's about as scary as Stranger Things, which...
Yeah. Well, see, it depends. Like, you know, there's good horror movies and bad horror movies.
Yeah.
This would be more of like an artistic one.
I suppose, yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, Spiral, the latest installment in the Saw franchise.
Yeah.
That's what I would call shit god-awful horror movies.
Garbage horror. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know, I just usually take it off Wikipedia.
No, that's fair, yeah, no, because I've had people ask me, like, is it scary? But, like, I'm more, like, there is jump scares, but it's more action horror than, like...
Yeah.
I feel like there's The Conjuring, which is, like...
Yeah, spooky, scary,
you know,
yeah.
I got the heebie-jeebies.
I'm so spooked.
And then this is more just like, oh!
Yeah. It's a bit like... It's the equivalent of the docking scene in Interstellar.
Yeah, exactly. It's tense.
Like, oh my god, what's going to happen? I'm so
exactly.
spooked.
It's tense. It's tense.
But yeah, well, first of all, welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime.
And this, should we tell the people? We're in person.
We're in person.
We're in person.
I was talking to someone the other day, actually, and he didn't know I did all of these virtually.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's probably, you know,
But there
shows
you go.
the quality. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's the first one we've been able to do. Well, the first one of Reeling in the Peers we've been able to do in person.
Exactly.
But not only are we recording this in person, but we got to go see this in person in an actual cinema, surrounded by other people.
We got to greet John Krasinski and the cast and see it live.
They flew to Rathmines. Fair play to them.
No, it was a good experience going back to the cinema. It's been so long. What was the last movie we saw?
Wonder Woman.
Was it? Oh, fuck,
yeah, I know, wasn't
madness,
it? But it was great because I think the first movie we saw...
Was it Wonder Woman?
The last one we saw in the cinema, yeah.
Did we not see New Mutants after that?
No, because that was back in August,
that's
wasn't
fair,
it?
yeah, no, that's fair.
But it was, because the first movie we saw after lockdown ended the first time was A Quiet Place Part 1.
Yeah,
so, what a way to...
I know, yeah.
So when they close again...
Exactly. Krasinski, you gotta get that movie out.
You gotta work on it, man. I'll give you a hint. Just make it quiet at times. You can have that idea for free. But yeah, no, it was good to be back in the cinemas.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so like...
And we went with Lily, who's not here.
Yeah,
she's on holidays.
She's on holidays.
She's back to do Cruella, maybe.
Yeah, she really wants to do that movie. I don't know how keen you are to, but we'll see.
Oh, look. She's made me do horrible movies before. I'll do it again.
Yeah, you've seen Holiday.
I've seen Holiday. That was my idea.
Oh, sorry.
Her one was Pride and Prejudice, and I will never forgive her.
That's fair.
But A Quiet Place Part 2. So what I'm doing, because we realise probably not a lot of people have seen this or might not intend to see it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about it like in the non-spoiler sense, like what our overall thoughts were, some of the background stuff on it, and then also just a suggestion at the end of that, just being like, hey, you know, should you go see this, should you not? And then we'll get into spoilers then after that. I'll put, you know, I never do, I'm going to put some timestamps in the description.
Whoa,
yeah, no, we're doing it properly now.
We're in the 21st century of podcasting now.
But I forgot the question I always ask is, David, what did you think the story was?
What do you think the story? Don't steal that from our other podcast.
David, oh no, let me try and think. David Scanlon, could you ponder ponder the plot for me, David? There you go. Give me your plot pondering.
Okay, so we're if you've seen the first one, it's a post-apocalyptic world where aliens landed in meteors, and these aliens, they're super good at hearing.
They're the best.
They're super fucking good at hearing, which means everyone has to be quiet if they want to survive. They're super quick, so like if they hear you, they're gonna be like kill you just like straight away. Yeah. So we follow this family called the Abbotts, who I literally only found out. They're called the Abbotts. They're called the Abbotts, and spoiler for the first one. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you've seen the first one. One of their children dies, and then they're kind of living through this apocalyptic world, and then for some reason they decide to get pregnant. So this is just a carry on from that. The husband, John Krasinski, died in the first one, and just how the rest of the family is surviving through this world.
Yep. That's
pretty much it.
Because it's weird, because I think from watching the first one, I would have never thought they'd do a sequel. But yet, this movie does a very good job of actually... I don't know, because sequels are always so challenging to do, because you want to make it bigger and better and stuff. Whereas this just, it was almost as if they are taking it from a novel, like a franchise of books nearly, because it's literally just like, okay, well, here's this character's now the next day, which I think is very rare for a movie to kind of be able to have that same tone throughout kind of thing.
Well, Krasinski himself said, he wrote and directed the first one, he's written and directed this one, but he said after he finished the first one, I didn't have a sequel in mind.
Yeah.
Then the studio came back to him and said, look, that's fine, if you could just write like a forward for us just to kind of get it going. And he started writing it and he was like, damn, I'm directing this movie or whatever. So he couldn't help himself. But yeah, like it's so strange that a movie just ends and then you just see what happens the next day.
Yeah.
Like it's when does that ever happen? But like again, I think this is just the case of we've seen like this microcosm of the world in the first one, and it's just layering out what's beyond the borders of what we've seen.
Yeah.
And it's just seeing what else is beyond, is in the environment or whatever.
Yeah, because it's a cool thing, because it is an interesting world, because in the first one we don't really know how the rest, we're only going off what the Abbotts think, where they're like, we haven't heard from everyone, so we're going to assume everyone else is like dead or something.
We see them on the farm and we see that town that they go in and raid. They just steal fucking supplies.
Criminals.
Exactly. And that's pretty much it. Like there's a bit where they go into the waterfall, but that's as far as we get. Like we don't go to like from city to city or anything like that.
So it was kind of interesting to see them, like you say, expand out.
Yeah.
But I thought what was kind of good actually about this one as well was because they were able to get the whole cast back. And it's always very challenging with kid actors, because this is taking place like literally, is it the day after?
Yeah.
It's pretty much the day of,
when
the last movie ends. And so you need to have all the kids relatively looking like they do look a bit older in this. That was kind of like, oh, these kids are. And then if they're doing like they've announced they're doing a third one now as well. I'm like, oh, you got like whenever kids are involved, you need to try and get them out as quick as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you got Emily Blunt, you got the two kids. I don't know if it's the same baby actor, cannot confirm. But you got as you called him earlier, Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy, yeah. Hollywood actor. No, look, to be fair, if you've seen the first one, the performances were incredible. Like, I think this script was only like 40 pages or something, which is just like, I mean, there's probably 12 lines of dialogue or something ridiculous.
I felt like there was more talking in this one.
Yeah, there was more talking in this one, I suppose. But like, just the performances, throughout, I'd say, like I'm sure the kids are quite good actors or whatever, but like it's still nice to see them like really perform well when you compare them to the likes of Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy. But yeah, like there's I wouldn't say there's like a standout performance. I would say Millicent Simmons, who plays Regan Abbott, the daughter. She's actually deaf in real life, which is incredible. Like, and I know John Krasinski just really loved like performing with her on the first one, and like he had really like these conversations with her mother that said like, oh, this is the movie I always wanted to show her, like growing up, because because that's her world. Like they created
full of aliens and
no exactly no, but they created the system in the movie where there's bits where everything's kind of muffled, which is what her whole life has been like. Like she can hear sounds, but everything's just muffled. And her mother was saying like to John Krasinski, this is exactly what I wanted to experience. So that was pretty cool. But like she's incredible. Noah Jupe as well. Like
he's very good.
He's very good. Like there's a bit in it where he gets hurt and he is he is just showing his pain. So there's absolutely no kind of like weak performance or anything like that. But no, look, as I said, like the performances throughout are really, really good. Direction is good.
Like who is this John Krasinski guy?
I know, yeah.
Writing and directing.
The guy does 6 seasons of The Office. He does 2 seasons of Jack Ryan.
Is it not like 9 or something?
Well, whatever.
Anyway, but that's what I mean. He was Jim from The Office, and now he's gone off and like directed 2 very good movies. And like just some of the stuff, like what I loved so much about these movies, like in the first one, it's like the nail. You know, that nail is there, and you just kind of you forget about it, and then it comes back, and you're like, oh yeah, shit, I remember that, and then it builds up just the tension in that. But even in this, there's just so many deliberate things that are done so well that I think kind of what you were saying earlier about like, is it a horror movie? Is it not? It is a horror movie, but it's just kind of everything's done so what appears to be so smart and so deliberate that it feels like just such a high class of movie kind of in a way. I'm just like, who's this John Krasinski doing this?
This artiste.
You can't be that good looking and be a good director and writer. That's why when you think of the best directors, they're all weird looking. You're Quentin Tarantino's, you're Martin Scorsese's,
Spielberg.
There need to be something wrong with them.
Spielberg is an absolute gremlin.
he looked in the mirror one day and was like, I've got an idea of what I look like. It's called Gremlins 2.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Electric Boogaloo.
Exactly, yeah. Is there anything else you want to mention?
No, I think yeah, it's a really good. I have some stuff about the whole background of it and everything like, but we can talk about that in spoilers. But like for me, it's a. I honestly I don't think it's as good as the first one. Maybe I'll expand about that more in the second in the spoiler bit. But I think it's a great movie. It's a great movie to return to the cinemas with as well because it's something that like. You know, you might not be able to get 100% peace and quiet at home when you're trying to watch it, but in the cinema, like it's almost like the. I was gonna say unwritten rule. I'm pretty sure there's something that says shut the fuck up, but like, do you know what I mean? Like everyone's being quiet, and it's just a great experience as well.
Yeah.
So my suggestion would be go out and see this. I think the first part is on Netflix anyway. So
yeah, if you can get a chance to see the two of them in the cinema now, like you said you missed the first one in cinemas the first time it was out.
Yeah,
we got it last summer when it came out. It was re-released. And like,
it's great.
As I said, like it's just incredible seeing that in a cinema because it's just like tense the whole way through, and it's like you've never seen, like we enjoy going to see comedies and stuff where the whole crowd is kind of laughing, whereas this is like the opposite of that where everyone's just like dead silent. So I do feel like this is definitely the type of movie where if you can see it in the cinema, you should. Plus the fact, look, cinemas have been closed for so long. Get out and support your local cinemas and
your
stuff.
Local Omniplex.
Yeah. Wait, we have to wait until they sponsor us.
That's the goal. It's the dream.
Free Omniplex.
Other cinemas are available. But yeah, so this is gonna be. So I think people should go see this.
Absolutely, I can. Again, if you like the first one, you've seen the first one, and you like that, go and see this because it's more the same and a little bit extra. I'd say
exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're gonna get into spoilers now.
Yeah. I'm
trying to think of something that bear claw clasps.
I was gonna say the aliens can't swim.
Aliens can't swim.
You think that would be something people would mention?
Like, I just think. Well, see, I suppose in us being on an island, you know, we're conscious that there's water nearby at all times. But I'd imagine if you're in the. I don't know where they're based in America. Where is it again?
Well, I don't know. It seems like somewhere south.
Yeah.
Like that seems like a Carolina or a Florida or something like that. They don't seem like hillbillies, but you know. But they can't swim, which is one of the first things we said when we got out of the cinema. We were like, Ireland would be so fine. Yeah.
Oh, it would be great because then chances of the meteors landing in Ireland, then the aliens getting like we'd find a way.
Yeah. But again,
we chuck one into the Vico baths.
The Vico baths, get out of here, lad. Into the 40-foot.
Wrap it, and then if we actually like the alien, we'll wrap it up in a dry rope.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So I enjoy these movies, but it's a case of like if you think about it too much, you can like find holes in the plot, and this is one of those things where like you know, surely there's parts of the planet like why would these aliens be attacking this world where it's like 70% water and I assume
like happening
I assume they can't they can't swim, they know they can't swim, so they're like, you know, we'll attack this world, so but like I think it just brings a different element now to it, which is. But
that's what I said. Like I'm interested to see where they go with the third part. Now they have another, because the whole thing was the biggest weakness was like feedback from Mike, which made sense. From what we knew from the first one. But for this one, it was kind of like.
I don't know. I felt smart about the first one because, like, I thought straight away, I was like, surely you just get a higher frequency sound and that'll kill them. And they ended up doing.
You did physics.
I did it. Yeah, the physics is great.
I was there like, shoot it, shoot it in the face,
shoot it in the head. But like, I feel like this makes it interesting because it's like, okay, we now have these two elements that we can kind of fight on or whatever. So, but like, that's probably something I wanted to bring up. I didn't know whether to bring up earlier or not, or towards later in the podcast. But where do you see this going now? Because I don't see this being like an Independence Day where we're gonna like get the fucking tanks. We're gonna fucking kill the aliens.
So to answer your question with a completely different point, so my thing with these two movies was they feel very much the same, very much a continuation of the same story, but yet when you realise that the budget for this was 3 times the first one, and you're like, where did that go? And when you think about it, I'm just like, I don't think it kind of had a big grand, because what was great about the first one was it was like a Home Alone thing where you're defending the farm and stuff, whereas this one, like, they were kind of going to different locations and there was a tense moment where they had to, you know, get the feedback from the hearing aid on the national radio, so it would kind of like
it felt like a journey more than anything.
It didn't have that kind of big climactic ending that the other one kind of had. So I felt like it was a good continuation, but so the story doesn't feel done. Which I think which is why I was kind of a bit unsure about it. So where it could go, Like I said, again, to make another different point, I feel like you need to kill off Cillian Murphy, get another white actor in, roughly around the same age. I did quote the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus to you, where the same movie, I don't know, Heath Ledger goes into a machine and Jude Law, Colin Farrell and Johnny Depp come out. So I'm thinking we ditch Cillian Murphy and we get, I don't know, Paul Mescal, get another Irish lad.
Get another Irish lad. Well, that's the point I made to you. As soon as I came out, I was like, you know, what was the point in killing off John Krasinski if you're going to have a character that does the exact same thing? But I will say, like, throughout that movie, I was like, which way is he gonna swing? Like, he could literally go, nah, do you know what? I'm just gonna look after myself here.
Yeah.
And
I feel like Cillian Murphy would play that character well.
Yeah. And even we're introduced to him through him, like, looking through the scope. Yeah. And, like, he's literally, like, aiming at the kids, and he's like you don't know, like, is he gonna shoot them?
Yeah.
Like, is he just like, nah, I don't care.
Get the fuck off my property.
Yeah, exactly. And then he ends up kind of saving them, and they end up down the bunker. And even, like, in the bunker, I was like, I am scared for this family.
Yeah.
He could just snap
turn,
and just, like...
but yeah, so I think his character was... So what I'm getting at as well is that, like, it is weird that John Krasinski just kind of wrote himself into it again to kind of be that, you know, protector of the daughter. But I think you made a good, like, just there, it's like, yeah, if he kind of goes a bit evil in the third one, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't like to see a whole, like, you know, the Abbott family versus, you know, aliens kind of thing on it. But I don't know, I think it'd be cool to go to another country or something like that.
Yeah, maybe they try to go to a safe zone or something like that.
It'd be a great Netflix series.
Yeah, like, it could be a little bit like, not Zombieland. World War Z, do you know, where they're trying to get to the place.
I know I just complained about a journey thing,
I know,
but like just something that feels a bit more grand scale, because
exactly,
at the end of the day they defeat 2 aliens in this one, and that's exactly what happened in the first one.
They defeated 1 alien, then they defeated 2 aliens.
Also, can I just point out the aliens are very bad at killing in this one. They just swat people away. Did you notice that?
Yeah, well, see, because they're blind, they're just like they're kind of just like swatting where they can. So I think that makes sense or whatever. But like, yeah, they just kind of have razors at the end of their arms and their limbs, and they're just like fucking throwing people aside. So sorry. Okay, so yeah, I would like to see a sequel to this.
Yeah,
but
there is going to be one.
There is, but they've already decided on it. But definitely I think, like, expansion of the world, like, this was a bit of an expansion, but it was kind of minor, stuff like that, but it was still quite interesting. Do we see more of those kind of weirdo psychopath people, or, like, is that going to be an element where, like, the aliens are a threat, but also this, like, subculture of human beings that have divided into tribes?
I don't know,
just,
like, people who, like, cut out their tongues because they don't want to make noise and
shit
like that.
Something ridiculous.
I think you do something like that. Yeah, like, there's a lot of ways you can go with it, but I think it's because now you've done 2 movies that are quite the same. It's kind of like anything too far one way now is going to seem out of place. Yeah. So I don't know.
Or like, the other thing I was thinking, and now I know I'm just rambling now, is do they just go a completely different way? Do they focus on another person? Or, like, maybe do they just focus on Cillian Murphy? He just goes off on his own little journey. Yeah. Like, the family stays on the island at the end, and he just goes off on his own little journey, just fucking killing zombies and or killing monsters.
Get him, Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
So yeah, there is a couple of different ways to go with it, but yeah. I think we should go back to this movie now.
Back to this movie. Well, okay, how about this? I will talk a bit about some of the stuff behind the scenes, because it's kind of interesting. So this movie was originally supposed to come out last April of 2020, and then it got moved, obviously because of the COVID pandemic. Sorry to break it to you if you didn't know about it before. But it went from April of 2020 to September 2020 to April 2021 to September 2021, and then back to May 2021. So it moved 4 times, and on the first one, like, obviously COVID, like, all started to get bad around March, and this came out in April. And usually what movies do is they kind of ramp up the month before. So a rumor, there was something about this where they'd spent 60% of their marketing budget on the movie, and then it had to get cancelled. There was a load of stuff like that. So this movie, the budget was 61 million. The original was 17 million. But on its opening weekend, I think it made something like, I don't have the number here, but it made something like 47. But it now currently has like 178. So it actually has it's probably made its money back, which is very rare for COVID movies these days to be able to do that. But when you consider, like, this came out in April, was supposed to come out in April last year, and so many other movies like Mulan and Tenet kind of rushed to come out, whereas John Krasinski kind of, I don't know, It's probably because, as much he's like, I want to preserve the cinema experience, he was definitely getting a cut of that juicy box office.
No, but again, like, I have seen the marketing on this, and it has said, like, if you're going to see this movie, go see it in the cinema.
But that's exactly what we said.
Exactly necessary,
So it's like, it absolutely makes sense to wait for it. And I'd say a lot of people would, because this is produced by Paramount, and Paramount have their own streaming service. It's not in Ireland, I don't think, but it's like Paramount Plus, and they were like, can we put it on this? And John Krasinski, because he's like writer director, maybe producer, was just like, no, it's staying. So that was great that they were able to kind of have that patience to hold it off and let people kind of see it.
Absolutely.
And then like I said, there's another one coming out. He wrote it. Emily Blunt didn't want to come back and do it until she saw the script, which I imagine would have been a very awkward dinner conversation.
Also, I don't know if you've heard, he wrote this for his kids.
What do you mean for his kids?
Like he dedicated the writing of the first one and the second one to his kids.
Why?
I don't know.
He's just doing his job.
Well, no, I know, but
it's not like me going into work being like, I dedicate this to my father.
You know these fucking Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
I suppose it's a family story.
It is a family story, but like, imagine like, hey, your fucking brother died. And
how many kids are there?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how many kids he has in real life.
Because if there's 4, I feel so bad.
Yeah, just like He
basically said like, if you don't shut the fuck up, an alien will come and go. Look, I'm writing this because this will happen to you.
Yeah.
So listen to me, little John Krasinski Jr. Shut the fuck up after 9 p.m. where the monsters are coming to get you.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I just thought that was funny. Like, he wrote this whole apocalyptic movie about survival for his kids.
The family sticking together. It's
Yeah.
all about it. John Krasinski's in this for a bit, which I liked. I'm glad he came back for a bit.
I would like to mention that first kind of opening scene because it brings us back to before the first movie, the first day of the attack. And so again, there's a video on YouTube from Variety, I think, and John Krasinski talks through this kind of opening scene. And
is this one of these things where celebrities like have like a kind of a highlighter?
Yeah. He was talking about it, and he was saying like he wanted to do it as kind of one shot, as much as possible as a one shot.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get you embedded in the world, and again, kind of build up that tension.
Yeah.
And he mentioned and then obviously what happens is you see kind of John Krasinski walking through town. He goes to his kid's baseball game, and then
can I point out, just wild tangent here. No, when he goes into that shop.
Yeah.
He's a very relaxed shopper. He's just grabbing shit off this.
Well, see,
he's whistling and he's having like, no one shops like that. You go in there, you're checking your phone, you see if you need eggs. They don't have eggs, they're not in date. You didn't check anything was in date.
See, it's
unrealistic.
It's completely different. Like we're used to living in this high flying cities, Gary. Back out in rural America.
He's going out, walking out the door. He's not paying for that shit.
Yeah, well, you've obviously knows as a shopkeeper. But anyway, we
back to your cinema points.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get back to my proper
your analysis.
We see the meteors hit or whatever, and then like shit starts to go down. All the crowd is kind of like, fucking get out of here. And there's a bit in the car with Emily Blunt, and he kind of compares that to Children of Men. Do you remember in that where it's like a one shot?
Yeah.
And he kind of talks about if anyone's interested in like behind the scenes stuff, it is an interesting video to watch. But I just thought that was really cool opening scene because it gets you back into that kind of environment, back into that kind of culture of what had gone on or whatever. And it's nice to see John Krasinski again
talking his craft.
Yeah, and it's also cool to see what the family was like before they knew what was going on, or what the whole world was like before they knew what was going on. Because we see like the girl on the phone, like her phone goes off in the pub or in the bar, and like shit just starts to go down, and they're fucking running for their lives. So it is just cool to see it from before they knew exactly what was going on, before they did all the research into what how the aliens attacked and stuff like that. I just thought that was an interesting kind of opening scene and gets you kind of embedded in the film. And the other thing I was going to mention is I should have, if you are going to see this, maybe catch up on the first one before, because I couldn't remember how the last one ended.
I was kind of the same. I was like, isn't it? I can't remember, but isn't it like she plays the feedback, the head opens up and Noah Jupe shoots the guy?
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah. But the funny thing was, I couldn't remember what happened in the barn. The barn somehow ended up flooded, but also on fire.
Oh yeah,
which also happens later on in this movie.
John Krasinski's a lazy driver. He's looking at that camera too much and giving a shrug, Jim style.
Which I just something I just wanted to mention. If you don't remember exactly what happened at the end,
I don't think
I don't think it's necessary, but it's just something I wanted to mention personally. But yeah, look, we'll move on from that because I just thought it was a really cool opening scene. It's only like 5-10 minutes. I think it's actually online if anyone wants to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's cool open scene.
And then okay, so what do you think about Cillian Murphy being in this then?
I love him as an actor.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, he can play good and bad.
Yeah.
Which means like throughout that movie, I was like, fuck, I don't know which way he's gonna swing. There, you can see like he's kind of on his last legs. He's like, you know, I've kind of lost everything. I've lost my kids. I lost my wife. I really don't have much to live for.
Yeah.
And when the family finds him, you know, there's the bit where he's like, no, get out of my fucking face.
Yeah.
You know,
my wife is upstairs rotting away.
Yeah, exactly. Like I this is my place. I'm safe here. Leave me alone or whatever. And then he has to go off and save your one, the kid, the daughter. Regan Abbott.
Yeah.
And it's from then on we see him just become more and more kind of noble. No, I wouldn't say noble, but he definitely like becomes more of a character that's like, okay, I'm not just going to look after myself. I need to kind of look after this kid, and he obviously sees like, look, I can't save my family because they're all dead or whatever. You know what I mean. But I can look after this kid
because he had a relationship with John Krasinski beforehand, like they were mates.
Yeah.
And their kids knew each other because they were all playing baseball or whatever together. But yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. What was cool about his character in this was in the first one we had like John Krasinski and Regan. I will not stick to characters or actors' names. But the dad and the daughter in the first one, and there was that like great relationship and like all the sign language and stuff. And he was like a really caring father, looked after his kids. And then we have Cillian Murphy just being like, "Fuck off, what you want?" And then like even him being so like, not I wouldn't say ignorant to like her, like, you know, being deaf, but he's very much he's just not used to dealing with it.
He's just, well, at the start he's just not willing to even try, and then like later as we go on in the movie he just tries his best, like
but there's bits where she's like, enunciate,
exactly.
look at
you need to look at me.
But it's great in the sense that it's just like, but as you see he goes on, then eventually there's a little thing he asks like, what's the word dive mean, and that's the only, or like how do you say dive in sign language, and then that comes back later on in the movie, and that's what I mean about like that deliberate kind of stuff. Like
there's the towel as well on the canister or whatever, and like he does lay those little breadcrumbs throughout, and like I do find when you go to see a movie and something comes out of the blue at the end of the movie, you're like, where the fuck is it? But like he does really well that kind of breadcrumbs, like this is going to be important, like, and just whatever. And
that's why it was great being in the cinema as well for this one, because it was literally just everyone in the cinema at all when so basically they go into this like it's like a what's like an oven nearly, like it's an industrial oven or something like that, and basically whenever like the baby starts crying or something,
it's soundproofed, and there's no oxygen allowed in it. So
he puts the towel there so they can open it up again, but if the towel's not there, it like locks from the outside and you can't get out. And we see them do that every time, and it's kind of not really made a big deal. They're kind of like, why is the towel there? But then literally there's an alien attack on this like factory that Cillian Murphy's been staying in, and Noah Jupe and the baby have to like rush in to this kind of oven thing or kiln. They gotta get out of that kiln. But they go in, and then it just happens so quickly because they don't look after the town. It just closes, and everyone in the cinema just goes, just an audible. It was fantastic.
And the other thing I was going to mention, and again it's subtle, is the he shows the water dripping just outside it as well. And again, that was something I was like, why do they keep focusing on the water dripping? But that again comes back when Emily Blunt's character needs to turn on the sprinklers because it makes the aliens harder to, it gives the aliens trouble hearing or whatever.
Water again, not their friend.
They're not their friend.
Other things actually, just briefly, just speaking about that, because Emily Blunt, because the daughter runs off because she's discovered a thing that she thinks there's people in a certain location because there's a song being transmitted. So she goes off that. Then Cillian Murphy sent off to get her. Then Emily Blunt has to go get medicine. Oh, for the kid. Yeah, him screaming, that was visceral.
With the bear trap.
Oh my god.
Like it's kind of early on in the movie. It's probably like 15-20 minutes in, and they're running. They've made a noise. They're running, and when that it like clamps. And you know he literally screams, and like you can tell he's trying to hold it in. And like Emily Blunt, the mother, is trying to stop him, but he is just in pain. And good like again, it's an incredible performance from Noah Jupe. He is just screaming and like to be fair, like it shows a little bit of gore, but it's not like it doesn't like zoom in on it like you would see in a Saw movie or something like that. But like you definitely get the sound effect and you get like the reaction, which I think is incredible.
I think when we say that he's screaming and it's good, I think this is like good Hollywood screaming and bad Hollywood screaming. Like we compare something like this to, I don't know, The Wicker Man with Nick
Yeah,
Cage.
exactly.
Breeze!
Exactly.
Imagine Nick Cage in a bear claw trap. What? The clamp! The clamp!
Well, I think again, it's it's almost the transition of like so much of the movie is so quiet, and then you get this one bit which is just so loud, and it makes it really effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, no, go on. That was incredible. The other thing I was going to mention was that that split scene where it's you were just mentioning early on where they've split it between the 3 scenes and they're kind of intercut.
Yeah.
So you have Cillian Murphy and the daughter have been attacked by this kind of savage gang.
Yeah.
They're kind of like crusty. They all look like they have scurvy and shit.
Did you ever watch It's Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
You know Rickety Cricket?
Yes,
yeah, and
that's their family.
Yeah.
And they're attacking them. Then Emily Blunt is going off to get medicine for the baby.
Just this was the
go on. Yeah.
Why is there still supplies there? Like, if they need gas canisters to, like, because they have the oxygen tank so that they can put the baby in like a basket and give it a face mask, give it like the oxygen supply. Just like, but then she just opens the door and there's 2 canisters there. She goes, well, I'll pick these up and walk out. It's like, why did you not get them the first time?
Well, like, I'm sure there's only so much they can carry, like, you know.
I just feel like...
I know, well, but
yeah,
I suppose.
It was just more like, well, we'll just go get these things easily in this cupboard.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It was just, anyway, but yeah, so it's cut with that, and then also
there's Noah Jupe, who is kind of exploring the warehouse where Cillian Murphy has kind of set up, or whatever he kind of lives. And I just thought that direction and editing was incredible, because there's something, something's going to happen, but you don't know who it's going to happen to. Yeah. And like, in so many movies they do this kind of element, and it happens to one person, where one person kind of gets attacked, and it's they've built the tension through 3 scenes, and then it happens to one person. But with this, it actually happens to Cillian Murphy, where they get attacked by that gang.
Yeah.
But then it happens with Noah Jupe, where he finds Cillian Murphy's wife, who's kind of rotting away up in the kind of the rafters. And he makes a lot of noise, kind of gets scared, makes a lot of noise, and then the alien attacks.
Yeah.
But like, I just think the intercutting of those scenes was incredible, because it just builds tension, and you don't know where the attack is going to come from. And then by like it cuts through, and then Emily Blunt almost appears back in the scene with Noah Jupe. And I just thought that was, like, from an editing perspective and from a direction perspective, I thought that was incredible, because
the writing even.
Yeah,
to be able
exactly.
to write like
I'm sure it's really hard to kind of cut those scenes together. So.
But you know who's like that, and it's funny you mention it, like, not the king of that, but one of the people that pioneers it, or not pioneers it, just does it a lot, I think is what I'm trying to say. Chris Nolan, he does it a lot. He does it with Inception, he does it with Interstellar, he does it with Dunkirk, like literally having 3 different plot lines run simultaneously, but yet everything's building and building and building. So, there's another funny looking director.
Hey man, he's
a dapper dude.
Yeah, he's a dapper dude. He likes the suit.
He loves it. But what you call it? But yeah, I think it was really well done. And then even that like when those scenes kind of end, yet they're still able to have tension. Like, we still know that what's his face, Noah Jupe, is in that like kiln huffing that sweet O2. We don't know whether Emily Blunt's going to get there in time. We don't know if something's going to happen to the baby, because like we live in this universe has set up that just people can't die. John Krasinski can die. Their kid died. We don't know what's going to happen. Especially when there's a baby involved, you're like, oh no, don't do anything. Please, John Krasinski.
And I suppose like it's nice because so I hate kind of just describing what happens, but I kind of just want to kind of get everyone caught up. So there's kind of a little bit where we get to kind of relax. So Emily Blunt comes and kind of fights off the alien and manages to get into the kiln with Noah Jupe and the baby with the extra oxygen tank. So we almost get a moment, and then Cillian Murphy and the daughter start sailing off to the island, which is where they're trying to get to. So he almost gives us a moment just to breathe. And just say like, okay, everyone's fine. There's no tension anymore. It kind of releases the tension. But then he just starts ratcheting up again. The alien starts to appear again. We get that great kind of... I got kind of Alien vibes. Like Alien, the movie vibes. When he's in... You can see the water coming down and he just kind of peers out. And then Cillian Murphy, who kind of... You can see relaxes again when he gets to the island.
Unclenches.
Yeah, unclenches, exactly. And then he sees the boat where the aliens somehow managed to get across. So no, the aliens can't swim, but they can get in boats. They can direct boats to an island.
I'm just imagining Steamboat Willie.
But I just love that. See, this is the thing. Someone mentioned that to me, like, how did the alien manage to get across? And I was like, could he sit in the boat and just like move his claws, just whatever. But I just like that he releases the tension in one scene, and then just starts ratcheting it up again. Because
the movie's only an hour and 40 minutes. And there was that weird scene when they get to the island and they meet another group of people and they're all there laughing, chatting, making a load of noise. And it's
Jimon Hansu.
Fair play. I never know how to pronounce that name.
We're introduced to Jimon Hansu, man of Gladiator fame. And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also in something else, isn't he?
He's been in loads of stuff. He's a character actor.
Yeah, he's very good. But like we discussed it before this, he wasn't meant to be in it. Brian Tyree Henry was supposed to be in it. Tyree Henry, yeah. He's fantastic. He's in Godzilla v Kong. He's good in that. He's in Atlanta. He's Paperboy. But again, it's a very like you literally saw the credits. He's like man on island. But yeah, you have the whole scene where like it's.
Sorry, do you know if Brian Tyree Henry's role was supposed to be bigger?
I have no idea. Honestly, could have been. Yeah, I know they had to recast him during production. So maybe there were scenes that were clashing.
It could have been something like he was supposed to stay out longer and it just couldn't.
But yeah, like again, so we're in this society or this community or whatever, and everyone's like, "Fan," they're all relaxed, and they're like, "Oh my god, we're having a great time."
Well, I was going to actually mention a few things about this community.
Go for it.
So, a few things came to my mind. Okay, so number one, the riddle that they send out on the radio waves to get to this island is the song Beyond the Sea. Beyond the Sea. So like I feel like that's a bit of a difficult riddle.
The worst thing. What do you like? What? Yeah, because they're just like because then what you had to do is you had to have an old book that literally said, oh, it's transmitting on this frequency, and if I check this old FM book, it says the frequency's coming from here.
Yeah,
and it's like have a voicemail. Like it literally is just a radio It's a radio station. Of now maybe they couldn't have a means of recording something and having it broadcast.
Well, this is the thing. I was thinking like, okay, so we want people to get to this island, but we only want certain people to get to this island.
You don't want the crusty
people.
You
don't want any of those crusty people.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So maybe they're like, we want to make this difficult enough to solve that, we get normal people and no psychopaths.
That makes sense, yeah.
So maybe that was it. But then the other thing I was going to mention is surely they had a plan in place. Did they get complacent?
They're so naive, yeah.
Yeah, did they get complacent? They're like, look, we'll just do it on the day, like when something happens, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit of that. Yeah, so what happens is then they're literally all having like a picnic or a barbecue. Alien comes along and starts swatting people. Yeah, it was very much, but like again, like there's nothing much you can kind of do once the alien gets there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless like it would make sense actually now that I think about it. Would be I don't know in the first one if they had traps set up, but like I don't know, you just a lot of cans in the corner that like make noise and distract the alien that way and stuff. Yeah,
or like even like something around the island or something.
Yeah,
maybe like you have an entrance to the island that like there's landmines around it. Or so. I don't know. Like this is the thing. Like
these are people who use riddles with old like songs.
I'm trying to figure out what could be done, but it was just something that came to mind. When I was finished watching the movie, I was like, this community, they're very smart and also very dumb.
Yeah, see, they don't have a hard edge, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That Jimon Hansu is too nice.
He's too nice. Exactly, yeah.
And actually, that was the other thing I was going to mention is, I keep kind of just jumping back and forth. So, the one thing I hate about apocalyptic movies is it portrays the human race in a terrible manner when things go wrong. So, we always find that when things go wrong, humans just end up like killing each other and the worst of the worst. And that's what we see with the crusty people, that they've just turned into these kind of subhumans. They've broken up into tribes, and I feel like it's kind of like Lord of the Flies, if anyone's read that book or seen that movie. This idea that like there's a Nazi within all of us, and when the going gets tough, we just kill each other. We're just gonna just get rid of it. But it's nice that they showed one side of it, and then this other side of it where it's almost like a utopia where we have different nationalities, different races, all just living in harmony and just kind of looking after one another. And then when an outsider comes in, it's not like this fucking dickhead who runs the place like, no, this is our home, whatever. It's more like, no, welcome,
you got the riddle. Oh my god,
yeah, exactly. Welcome you in or whatever and look after you. So that was just one thing I wanted to mention, because I hate that idea that like
You hate your Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're all just going to turn into these, subhumans, and just start killing each other for guzzling or whatever they call it.
Witness me!
Yeah, exactly, and start huffing that paint or whatever. So yeah, that's again just more cinematic
that's
stuff.
really cool actually.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's kind of also like it's because they all have each other, so they're more welcoming like that. But like we said earlier with Cillian Murphy, who's very much like get away, fuck off. Yeah. But he's not subhuman yet. He's not.
Yeah,
that,
he hasn't made that.
He hasn't turned crusty entirely. But it's only because he lost his family. Do you know what I mean? Like that he got so like that sort of insular. What's the word? Yeah. But also, were you upset that he didn't have a Birmingham accent in this? I was a bit upset.
By order of the
I found a boat.
Yeah, exactly.
No making noise. No making noise. No making noise.
No making fucking noise. And then he gets killed by a
yeah. Do you know what I mean? I would have loved that. I would have loved the Birmingham accent.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed he had a normal, like an American.
Maybe he's from Birmingham, Alabama in this movie.
Where's Dublin in? Is Dublin in Ohio?
Ohio,
yeah. Anyway, and then like I guess kind of where that kind of storyline ends with the radio station, and again we have that tension building where they're trying to get to the radio station to emit the signal, and we don't know how it's going to end, and Cillian Murphy even gets slashed at one point. We don't know if he's going to die, and then again cutting back to the factory, that alien is, what do they have names? We just call them aliens?
No, I'm just calling them aliens, yeah. I'm sure there is a name for them,
probably.
But like,
good listeners.
Yeah.
More like what men aren't, am I right, ladies?
We call them ears or something. Earwigs.
Swatters.
Swatters, yeah. So yeah, sorry, actually I will mention one of the funniest scenes in this movie is we get Noah Jew and Emily Blunt are in the canister thing, and they're safe, whatever, and we get Noah Jew has the headphones in, he's listening to Beyond the Sea. He's waiting to hear his sister's feedback signal, and he's just huffing on that O2.
It looks like he's getting high.
It looks like he is absolutely out of it.
And they're big, bulky headphones.
This looks like something from the 1980s
it's very
in
funny.
A college dorm. It's just something me and Gary laughed at for
well, that I found a boat.
Yeah, that's it.
There's a fantastic scene where what's her face? Regan wakes up the daughter, and Cillian Murphy seems to have left her, and she's getting real panicked because again she goes off by herself, and like not being able to hear as well, like this.
Actually no, sorry, I just say that's a great change from the first movie, because she feels like she deserves to go off with Noah Jupe and John Krasinski to the waterfall. Yeah, but she's told no, you have to stay on the farm. And this one she's like, no, I'm not cut this shit or whatever. I'm going to do it myself.
Because Noah can't go because his leg has been clamped.
And she kind of says, you know what, Dad isn't here anymore, he's not here to look after us, I'm going to look after us, I'm going to save us. And she kind of takes up the mantle, and I feel like that was a great transition from the first one.
Stupid idea though, because there's literally bits in it where like monsters could be like killing people behind her, and she wouldn't know. But when Cillian Murphy catches up, and then eventually they go to they sleep, and they wake up next morning, she's not there, and it's a really tense scene. And I don't know why I find it so funny, but just literally like tension. Cillian Murphy like comes up behind and goes, I found a boat. He
kind of appears into the shot, and he's just like, I found a boat.
And then the movie is just basically about finding boats.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then they find a boat to get over.
Yeah.
And then they get over, and then they find another boat.
That's an alien in it.
That's the next one, David. They go boat hunting. Here I have it. I have the next one, part 3. It takes place on the sea. It's like Mad Max, but with boats. And the aliens are in the boats.
They've figured out how to
it's like what was that god awful movie that came out recently that Peter Jackson did? The Machines.
Mortal Engines.
Mortal Engines, but it's boats with aliens and boats. Cowboys versus aliens. Marine life versus aliens. But I don't know. Those are my 2 funny moments from this, where I was just like, "This is a serious movie."
It was a bit of a chuckle moment. Sorry, and then, we're on to the last bit of the movie, and there's they're trying to get into the radio station room, and
your man, what's his name again? what's his name?
Jimon Hansu.
Fair play. Jimon Hansu.
He makes a fatal error.
They all drive. They drive for, I'm going to say, what feels like maybe like 5 minutes. I go like, I don't know, let's say 100 kilometers.
The island isn't that big.
It's not that big. So they drive for ages, and they get to the radio station, and they go in underneath a door, like a garage door or something. And then they get there, and then Jimon Hansu. Jumanji.
Yeah, exactly.
Jimon Hansu. Oh, that worked. Gets there, and he's like, oh, what if the alien went back? And I'm like, you've been in this building for 5 seconds. Don't make this stupid. And he goes, I'll go back. And then he proceeds to like just get swatted.
It's straight away, yeah.
But no, it's great because it's that final thing of the build up, because it's really interesting to see in a movie where it's like one person is trying to achieve something and there's tension around that and whether they're going to do it or not. But the other person's fate is directly dependent on the success of that other thing, because like we said, Noah Jupe's waiting for that signal to come through to be able to fight off that alien who's kind of getting his hands, trying to swat them while they're in that kiln. And then Regan and all are trying to get around and, you know, get to the radio station and stuff. So again, tension top notch.
Again, it's those two moments are cut together. So we see the mother and Noah Jupe and the baby are in the kiln, and she gets swatted as well.
Oh, yeah.
A bit like Cillian Murphy, like the two adults get swatted, and then it's the kids that have to save them. Yeah. And I think it's a bit kind of cringy that the two kids end up like
very cringy.
Kill the.
He wrote
the
it for his kids though.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wanna be stuck in a kiln and then shoot an alien in the face, you can. John Krasinski Jr.
Yeah. But like I do think like the daughter Regan was definitely brave enough to do it.
I just point out the reason why I'm so bad at the names is because they don't talk a lot in this
I know,
movie.
exactly. They don't shout each other's names from time to time.
Regan, will you stop making noise?
But no, so like Regan is actually really brave, as we've said throughout the movie, that she is really brave. She's willing to kind of go off on her own. But Noah Jupe, I keep saying Noah Jupe.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name is Marcus. So Marcus is a little bit more kind of scared, and we see that at the start with the baseball. That he's kind of like nervous, whatever. And he's kind of really nervous throughout the movie. He's really, really scared. But this is a moment for him to kind of say, my ma is in no say here, there's a baby, I need to kill this alien. And like the thing is, the signal isn't going to kill the alien on its own. You still need to
paralyzes it kind of
it kind of opens its all its earwaves or whatever. So you still need to kind of shoot it in the head. But the other laugh out loud moment was where Regan picks up a lead pipe and beats the alien to death.
That was gas.
Yeah, exactly. Because in my head I'm just thinking like a North Dublin lad, just like, I'm gonna bait the head off. Head. Head. Shoulder blade.
Back of the head.
The Irish economy.
Don't you be coming here now and making all this noise.
What was it? Your bad self.
The Irish economy has been set upon with by a gang with baseball bats. So check out your bad self on YouTube. It's great. So just as a little behind the scenes thing, this is the hottest day in Ireland today. My apartment's roasting,
and we're in
Euros is on in the background. It's 1-1 against Austria and North Macedonia, and we have our first audience member with David's girlfriend patiently sitting there waiting to go home. Little context for you.
This is definitely not going to make it into the podcast.
I think I'll leave it in. But yeah, and like again, this one kind of does a good job, but it doesn't set up a sequel. But you can feel like the first one didn't set up a sequel, and yet it did. So I'll be interested to see where it goes.
Absolutely. No, look, as we've said throughout, it's good fun. It's a good one again to go back to the cinema if you're trying to introduce yourself back to the cinema.
Yeah.
What else are we trying to mention? Yeah, look, just go out and enjoy it. Don't bring the kids. I was going to say bring the kids. Don't bring the kids.
Just write them a horror movie.
Yeah, just write them a horror movie. But yeah, no, like really, really good. Again, like I said, I would recommend go and see it. There's some really, really incredible directing if you're into your kind of movie editing and stuff like that. If you like your kind of Chris Nolan intercuts and stuff like that, it's similar to that. Big tension. I would honestly put it on a tier of Stranger Things. So if you've seen Stranger Things, don't be afraid of this.
It's not scary at all. It's not jump scary.
It's just tension more than anything.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
brilliant for me.
That's it. Yeah. So I was well.
And sorry, Gary, I want to say it's great doing this podcast.
It's good to it's so
I can
much better,
see
isn't
you,
it?
Yeah, because every so often you freeze on Zoom, and I'm like, oh no, this isn't coming through. And I'm like, and then I'm sending the audio, and I'm like, don't know if this is gonna go.
There you go. Well, thanks for trekking all the way here to do it in what feels like the killing of our road. It's so warm.
I think in a few seconds we're gonna lose oxygen.
Just huffing some O2. But no, so thanks for coming over.
I don't know if we've cut that a little bit short. We were kind of talking and then we just decided to cut it, but it's just we'll fix it in post.
We'll all be fixed in post.
Yeah.
But no, David, thanks for doing this. Thanks for anyone who's listened to this or any others. Thanks for Kira for just sitting there and listening to it all, being our first live audience member. I want to say thanks to just North Macedonia for having a great performance in the Euros.
First time at a major championships, and they're going head to head with Austria.
There you go. But no, so seriously, guys, thank you very much, and it's good to be able to do movies that are actually recently coming out. Yeah. So I'm hoping to keep this going. We'll see how much we
I'd love to do this throughout the summer now if we can get to. Well, hopefully it continues. That we continue opening up. And so,
but yeah, guys, if there's any movies that I don't know you think are coming out, you're like, God, I'd love them to do an episode on that. Let me know. Chances are I'm probably going to see it anyway.
Yeah. Well, with our OmniPass.
We are not sponsored, but I cannot recommend it enough. $14.99, you get to go see everything. It's great, good value. But yeah, let me know. And oh yeah, I'm supposed to do the other things. Yeah, if you want, follow Instagram at Reeling in the Piers. That's there. There's stuff on Spotify, Apple. Any other thing I need to plug with this? It's been so long since I've done one of these.
No.
Have a listen. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. If you know a friend that likes a movie about aliens that are good at hearing.
Right, this got off the rails. I need to open the door. Guys, thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.